Welcome to Prime Childcare Software Training. In this session, we will be going over setting up the Prime Check-in app. In this session, I will be using the browser-based version of the Check-in app that can be accessed via the URL highlighted. The other versions, the iOS and the Android versions of the apps, can be downloaded from each store. The only difference between the browser-based version and the Android and iOS versions is that the Android and iOS versions allow you to access the device's camera to take pictures. In the browser-based version, you will take pictures, put them on your computer, and then you will upload them. So for all versions of the app, you're going to sign in using your credentials. The first time you sign in, the Show Hints will be selected, so for each screen you can see the hints. If you just uncheck that box, then you won't see any of the hints. Once you get into the main menu, select Settings, enter in the admin PIN. The default admin PIN is 1234. You can change that PIN in the site settings. You can upload your logo, and you can also enter a message of the day in this box, and that message of the day will show up in the main check-in screen. If you have Prime, this will be the end of your setting up the check-in app in the check-in app. The remainder of your setup would be in Prime to make sure that you have students and sponsors and they are linked in Prime, and then also making sure that sponsors have a PIN code. If you are using the Prime check-in app standalone, in other words you do not have Prime, then your next step would be to go into Setup People. In Setup People, because I have already have sponsors in the system, I see them all listed here. If I don't, then I would click on the New button, add a new sponsor, their last name, first name, and PIN. I can upload a photo if I'm on a tablet. Using the Android or iOS version, then I can take a picture with that device. And then also, if I'm going to use the Fast Pass option, then the Access Pass section is where I would use that. I would have my reader already installed on my device, and then I just either scan the barcode or RFID or magnetic strip, and I would scan it in the reader. Then that would put a whole bunch of information in this box, and then it would drop down to the next one, and I would scan it one more time, and then that would save that Fast Pass for that sponsor. The next thing I do once I've saved my sponsor is that I want to attach students. So in this case, let's put a fake name so I can do that. So now I want to assign students to this sponsor. If you have Prime, you already did this in Prime, but I'm going to go in here and add. I'm going to select my student. If I don't have that student in the system yet, then I would click on New to add a new student. I can add a photo, and if I'm going to allow for student check-ins, then I could put a PIN for that student. It will make me put in a PIN. And then I'm going to go in and select that student. And because I'm on a test system, it's not going to work correctly. But let's We'll select JJ. And then if I have any other students for this sponsor, I'm going to add them. I'm going to link them in here as well. Once I'm done, then I'll click on back. You'll see I have one student assigned. And then go back, and that's it. My sponsor is set up and ready to go. I can also, from the setup screen, I can add employees and students. Same thing, just like with the sponsors. I can select whether or not I want to see just active student sponsors or employees. I can search. And if I do search, then it'll go down to the last name. And then as you see, the inactive ones are asterisked out. And that is setting up the Prime Check-In app.